So we are back into another Dragon Ball Super card game video. In this one, there's a lot of different updates. The main one being the SCR that got leaked or released early, of course. No surprise there. A lot of different mixed opinions, but hopefully I can clear up some things for that and kind of give you a few strategies when building a deck for the new Gogeta. The most obvious one is Shenron, so I'm going to go through that one, and I'm going to talk through a few different points for that as well. So let's get into it. Also, there's a lot of different other updates that they updated for the rulings for tournaments and stuff like that. I'll go through that as well. So the first thing is the SCR, which is on the strategy page. If you ever forget that is where it is, just go there and click on the SCR. So it is the SCR Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta. He does a lot. He does have a paragraph, just like a lot of other cards, like at all costs and a few other things, but this guy has a lot. So let's just kind of go over the actual description for him right now. So Miraculous Fighter, Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta. He's an 8-drop, 10k 1 cost combo, not 0. 40,000, and he has a EX Evolve. I'll go over that in a second. Critical Union Fusion, so he does have that curve into 6 instead of the 5, and then Ultimate, which means you can only have 1, Deflect, which can't be Crusher Balled or Cold Bloodlusted, and then Activate main. So his EX Evolve is a little bit different. Instead of paying, well, you do pay something from your hand. You place all cards from your hand other than this card to the drop area, and then you evolve it on the 7 cost, in which has Triple Strike and basically Zenos their hand into 3. So basically, this is technically a win more card with critical 40,000, and then the activate main, in which you have to have 15 or more into your drop in order to activate it first, and then you pay the cost. People are very confused about that, or can get confused on that. So you have to have 15 first, and then you can pay the cost. You can be at 16 or 15 and then choose 2. And then be able to switch it to active mode. But after you pass that, you can't switch it to active mode anymore. This is pretty interesting because the thing that I would say about this card, it's good, right? I think it is, I won't say amazing like Bandai says, but I think it's good. A lot of people are very much overwhelmed for it. And I think it's because we already have the other 2 Gogeta cards that does a lot for us. But this is the right secret, or the right one of for Gogeta. I don't think, like, yeah, it could have double strike, it could have triple strike or whatever, but I think it does a lot already. When you really consider it. So like before you be getting well, I'll kind of go over it, but right now it is definitely a win more card. I don't think there's any kind of huge issue with this, and you just have to plan accordingly. So let's kind of go into untap and then show what the curve process should be looking like. All right, so we are in untap. And the thing is that there are a lot of things to consider when considering the wish leaders and just Shenron in general. For Gogeta, I like it because, and this is why it's running around. If you've ever been on Untap or even in an Octagon, why you keep seeing Gogeta Shenron leaders is because the ultimate ability, which I call ultimate, for the triple attack and 10,000 is really strong. So I think personally that is the best one. Not only that, is that he is probably the best leader when getting the Dragon Balls early and Wish early. I don't think there's any other Wish leader that is better than him. The only caveat is he can attack, but I will actually go over, there's a video I'm going to be coming out, go over all of the Wish leaders and the benefits and the cons for them, and how you should play them, or at least my idea of how you should play them and consider when going to the set 5. So even before then, I kind of want to go over this in the sort of curve slash premise of this. And this is all sort of hypothetical, right? I think it becomes differently when you have certain Dragon Balls in your life. You have this SCR in the life, etc., etc. This is also a deck in which I sort of I built just, I mean, in a couple minutes. I was just like whatever, I'm just gonna build this just so I can show it. So the whole thing about it is that you do want to get your Dragon Balls early. So again, Shenron does let you do that pretty damn quickly. You do want to use Dragon Radar. Again, probably one of the best cards for Wish Leaders, if not the best card for it. And then yes, the Child's Wish probably isn't needed, and a couple of the other cards aren't really needed, but it really comes down to preference. And the idea behind it is that you use Objection, which you could use 4 for this too. In order to get to 4, you use Shenron to untap 2 and draw, and then the next turn you go ahead and get out Hero Revive for 5, give it the 5k in critical right after, and then give it triple strike or triple attack after you make them draw, shuffle all their cards into the deck and draw 3. And then after you attack, you go ahead and do that. By that time, you should have enough to go ahead and activate this man's ability. Take 2 into your deck, which is really good, by the way, because you do cycle quite a lot with any kind of Wish Leader, and you end up with like less than 20 cards, maybe even 10 cards at the end of the game. So that's really good. And then go ahead and attack and give this man triple attack. That's my sort of thing. If they already took the triple strike for this guy, you would take this guy for game, basically, because majority of the time, because of this sort of carryover, in which you're giving 5k and then 10k with the leader ability, that's 15 already. That's 55,000 critical, and then 45,000 triple strike. So I think this is a really good game ender. And the thing about it is that when you end up the thing for me, and this is why I kind of like the 1-star Dragon Ball. I do believe it's 1-star, right? 1-star Dragon Ball. Let me make sure. Yeah, this one where you drop a card, you can draw a card. The only thing about this is that since you're relying on Objection in order to ramp up quickly, you don't really want to use the 1 energy. So I don't really recommend to do that if you're focusing on that. If you're going for a more control aspect, then don't worry about it. You can just use whatever you want. When doing this, and this may or may not work, like I said, I just kind of built this pretty quickly. So I'll just get rid of all these. I do want to keep the Objection. Hopefully I don't get a second one. That'll be kind of annoying. Oh, look at that. All terrible cards. All right, so let's say if he's flipped, fine card, 2 of these. Oops, no. Oh, I should probably charge, huh? It's okay. It's not a real game, guys. It's not a real game. And then draw 2. Do that, and then now we have the Hero Revive and Shenron, which is good because that's pretty much needed for both of them. Could use Dragon Radar here for either the Desires or the Dragon Balls in my deck, and I think I will do that because yeah, I'll just take the chance. I mean, it doesn't really matter because there you go. Pretty good. And then draw 2. There you go. So when considering defense, you can either take the life. So there's a couple things. So let's say you take the life for that, right? You get another Dragon Radar. That's pretty tight. And then yeah, I'll just charge this. It doesn't really matter. The other thing is that I already know how many Dragon Balls I have in the deck, so I do want to go ahead and check the life just so. Let's just, like, whatever. I'm just gonna take the life just to see if the SCR is in there, which it isn't. It's still in the deck, so you know. That's only if you like forgot, like I do all the time. But I'll go ahead and take this anyway. And draw. So there's an Objection again. So you have an option to do that, but next turn you're gonna be playing Shenron and untapping 2 and draw, and then you give Hero Revived the critical and 5k, and then you attack. And then hopefully by that time you have the secret rare. The only thing about this is that you do have to keep watch of how many Goku and Vegetas you have in the drop, and how many cards you have in the drop area as well. Because as soon as you use the triple strike, well, the triple attack, you'd be low on cards as far as sparking goes. So the whole thing for me, which I'll just keep drawing until I find it. Whoops. Until I find it. That's another thing for secrets. Don't know if you get it. Okay, we'll just take it out. Another thing that's kind of annoying as far as this, you have to draw into it. There's no searchable thing for it. Shenron, I think, does a pretty good job about cycling through the deck, and you're going to have to build around that in order to cycle through it too. So again, giving this man critical, triple strike, and then attacking. I use battering, or I run yellow for battering, so that way Mafuba is not really an issue. You don't have to use mono blue. It's just that one Mafuba is going to mess you up quite a lot. And then right after that, again, you just EX Evolve by placing all the cards in your hand into the drop. By that time, you should have enough. And then you first use the activate main in order to restand it, and then use the ultimate for triple attack, and then go for game. So by that time, you should have 5k from this guy, because it carries over from the EX Evolve, and then 10k from this guy. So you're going 55,000 triple attack critical over and over. So again, pretty good. And then you can activate main if you'd like to. So if, let's say, I don't know, let's say if we draw a couple more cards, I don't really care. I really don't care. And to the drop area, if we just do that, you have 24 cards right then and there. Like, it's just sort of silly. Use 2 for Union Fusion, so it's going to be in there already. You already have a guaranteed restand in that. And then, so again, restand right there, restand right there. And I think that's pretty much it. Every other Goku's in there. So again, you gotta have to think about the ratios. Either way, give it triple attack, and then you restand it itself over and over again until you win the game, basically. And if they're tapped out, and they have 3 cards. So pretty good, pretty good. Again, it seems less practical than it seems, if that makes sense, but as you build into it, I think it's going to be really good. Also, hopefully tonight in Friday Night Fights, I'll showcase that a little bit more, and hopefully someone else has a better Gogeta deck than I do, so that way you can showcase the SCR a little bit better. But I'll definitely be playing that, so that way we can kind of get some more ideas going and get that right. So definitely tune in for that. Anyway, so a couple of the updates. If you haven't already, go get the app for the BCC ID or BCC app. This is not an advertisement or anything like that. I just think it's really cool. It just basically, the premise of this is that you get a rating based on points, and I do believe, I don't know if it'll show. I don't think it'll show here. Maybe it'll show here. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Okay, here you go. So it'll show you this right here. That's cool. In Wisconsin, that's nice. All right. I'm guessing it'll show your actual name, but every time that you win, so first place is 7 points, I think second place is 5, and then third place is 3. You get these points accumulating, and then you get a ranking afterwards. So it's pretty cool. Really cool thing to introduce to everybody, and just so it can keep it interactive for your locals. Definitely support your locals. And if there isn't one, well, make them. Another update is that definitely the finals or Nats is going to be streamed. So November 4 o'clock Pacific time, I do believe. So watch out for that. I do believe Dusty is going to be doing that. The updated manual is here as well. If you haven't looked at it, I think it explains. If we go here to burst, which the Dragon Ball also right here is updated, and as well as sparking, but burst is the most important, in which, if we look at it, can only be activated as the owner chooses to place the specific number of cards from the top of their deck into the drop area. Burst is described as burst 7 or burst X. So I'll get to this in a second. Well, let's go back this way. So for example, if we look at let's say Yamcha, which is probably my favorite leader, favorite red leader other than Pan right now, in which for his burst it says you must place 2 cards from the top of the deck into the drop area to activate this skill. When this card attacks, draw 1 card. So autos activate as soon as you do something. So if you play a card, if you attack or whatever, the auto activates, and then you start looking into the conditional part of that. So we were having a discussion in Discord. Definitely join if you didn't already. and you know, you don't have to do that. And I was saying you don't have to do that. Some people were saying yes, some people saying no. It's all good. It's all about just understanding. And the thing about it is that since it is saying you have to do this to activate it, this is the conditional thing to do it. So the ruling has been updated for that. Definitely very important going against Janemba decks, and as well as just in general, so that way you don't like deck out. My thing about it is that even if you go in against a Janemba deck and you don't activate your burst, that's okay, because as a Janemba player, I'm like, that's fine. You don't draw, you don't get your benefits in all of the skills that you need throughout the game. So I'm okay with that. Definitely watch out for that. If anybody ever tries to correct you for it, tell them they're wrong. Quick erratas. I don't know why they put this one. It's pretty visible in the actual card itself. It looks like it's just a 1K combo. They did fix the Mass Saiyan into Black Mass Saiyan, so that's nice. I think that's really the only two things. And then Sorbet, you already know. This has been updated for the gift box. So this is coming out in a few weeks, I believe. It's a $25 box, which gets 6 booster packs, 1 tourney pack, and then a limited leader card, alternate color or alternate art, which is this one. So I'm looking for the I don't know, someone can probably link in the description, but I'm looking for the other side for this. But this is the actual card. There is only one card from what it looks like. It is the Goku, which is the green Shenron leader. I don't particularly agree with that, but it is good for really good for collection purposes, and maybe people would actually play it because it is turning legal. So that's pretty sweet. And the deal itself, 25 for 6 booster packs. That's really quite good, actually. That's not too bad anyway. Whoa. Lastly, so the BCC battles for the January for the Crasher Crusher. So obviously you get the Crasher Crusher, and I think there is one other update. I don't think they put it here, but it's okay. Just as a heads up, you do get this guy. His permanent is that you play the card for 1 if you have no battle cards, and then they can't attack with any energy cost of 1. And then choose 1 of your bonus battle cards with energy cost of 1 and then KO it. So really slows down aggro decks. My advice again for aggro decks, just play Planet M2. You can just get rid of it pretty easily. I didn't go over also the new pricing for the foil reprints. So we literally just made a video with Crossroad CCG, and that's so funny that we made that, we talked about it, and then they came up with that statement. It's gonna be starting in March, so I won't cover that until then. So for this is the release tournament, I do believe next week. So these are all the tourney pack cards. I already went over them, so this is not really that big of a deal. These are the new cases if you haven't seen them already, so that's pretty cool. And I think they didn't really show anything else. I don't think there's really too much else for it. It's just like any other release tournament, so definitely watch out for that. What am I going to be playing on release? It's either going to be the new androids or Janemba. So yeah, there you go. And I think that's pretty much it, right? Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah. So this is more information about the release. So the top loader, and then Miraculous Survival promo cards. So these are actually pretty cool. Raging Spirit is actually really cool. Bodyguard Logic out. That's a definitely awesome thing to get for Pan. And then Flying Nimbus. Everybody was gonna want that one with the champion release tournament certificate. I think only the champion, the person who wins the whole tournament, gets that. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. Let me know what you think in the description, or in the comments, like, dislike, etc. I talked a lot, but I will see you in the next one. Later.